Hello, this is Michael from Geopath, and welcome to Geopath's Learning Lab. This is the second part in our series on audience segmentation. Today, we'll focus on behavioral targets. We've previously talked about creating relevant audience segments on different criteria. Just as a reminder, an audience segment is just a way of dividing the population into smaller groups. Let's now look more closely at breaking down a population based on their behaviors. This is a relatively new capability for the out-of-home industry, and it's important to understand the value these behavioral segments can have to advertisers. Previously, we've used demographics like gender, age, or ethnicity to define a universe to target for advertising. This is often the first step in selecting media. But think about this. Why limit a potential target to only men aged 18 to 34 when we could consider behaviors that align with the product or service being offered? Instead of only targeting those men, evaluate people who have performed a specific action in the past. Audience behaviors transcend race, age, gender, and are much more likely to connect advertisers with a wider range of people who will use their product. It allows our industry to tell richer stories about people. Let's look at the different range in targets by using an example. Let's say our client is Whole Foods and they're looking to advertise in the Atlanta CBSA. If we create a segment of adults aged 18 plus to evaluate out-of-home locations, we'd be looking at a population of almost 2.1 million people. Some of them would likely be a potential Whole Foods customer, but many are not. What if instead we used a segment of adults aged 18 to 49? That segment is about 1 million people. This is better than 2.1 million, but what really identifies a Whole Foods consumer? Geopath's new data sources can break this target down further. We can use this new data to look at the profile and media habits of someone who has actually shopped at Whole Foods. This gives us a segment population of approximately 179,000 people. While small in size, this behavioral segment is across ages, as it's about their actions versus if they fit into a certain demographic. This can give us interesting insights into what those shoppers look like. This audience segment can be plotted on a map to see where they live. Specific areas can then be evaluated based on their index to this behavior, and these areas can be used to build audience profiles. In this example, let's look at that segment of people who have actually shopped at Whole Foods and the zip codes where they live. Let's look at this low indexing zip code. Even though the median age of residents would have fallen in the demographic of ages 18 to 49, this particular zip code is not a hotspot for Whole Foods shoppers. This zip code is a hotspot and has different characteristics to the other zip code. All this information is helpful in identifying key areas to focus out-of-home efforts. But we can go beyond current Whole Foods shoppers to find potential Whole Foods shoppers based on other relevant behaviors. There are many other behaviors and psychographics that can be evaluated which identifies a larger pool of potential shoppers. For the Whole Foods example, we can look for people who say they focus on eating healthy, eating organic foods, or checking food labels regularly. These behaviors and others dovetail with the characteristics of a Whole Foods shopper, while at the same time allowing the advertiser to target a larger pool of potential shoppers. Things to remember. Being able to create detailed segments based on behaviors can be very helpful in creating a campaign to reach the highest potential consumer. However, be careful when creating these segments that the population becomes so small that it becomes inefficient to purchase an out-of-home campaign. Thanks for watching. For all your out-of-home questions, including ones about behavioral segmentation, email us at geekout@geopath.org.